What's up, guys? In today's video, we're going to take a look at what the next steps are for the overall market. The VIX dropped very, very aggressively. The overall market is now teetering at all-time highs. These large tech stocks are also holding support or looking to break out. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at all of the large tech stocks, crypto, the SP500, the NASDAQ, the VIX. We're going to put it all together. We've been doing a very, very, very good job over the past couple of weeks determining which direction all of these stocks and everything are going to go. And we've been doing phenomenally. So we're just going to take it one day at a time, what the next steps are, and we're going to get started with the video. If you guys are enjoying everything that I do, all of the content that I post, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I love you guys. Let's get started with the video. First and foremost, this is a chart of gold. And if we take a look at silver, gold and silver were rallying very, very aggressively. We were long gold, sold gold, and then we entered short on silver. Today, actually yesterday, we dropped over 8% on SLV. This was the single biggest drop to the downside in a very, very long time on any of these metals, and we profited to the downside. We were short, and it worked out really, really well. Alongside these trades, we were swinging all types of trades this week. I'll make a separate video going in detail of all of the different swing trades that we took. But this month of October, we have not lost a single swing trade. Every single trade that we've taken has worked out phenomenally. So if you guys want access to all of the trades, every single time I'm buying or selling anything, the link to join is down below. And we just make it very, very easy. Buy here, hold for a couple of days, maybe even overnight, and then sell. Very, very simple. Not as extreme or, focused, needed for day trading, right? Swing trading is much easier. So, my group, everyone wanted more swing trades. That's what I did, and it's been working out phenomenally. Gold and silver continuing to rally and showing strength was one of the main reasons why I remained bullish on the market. So gold and silver were rallying, right, making new highs, while the overall market started to show a lot of cracks to the downside and started to show a lot of weakness. So this is the SP 500, all right, the NASDAQ, both started to show a lot of weakness. What we're seeing right now, though, is the NASDAQ is right at all-time high, and the S&P 500 is also right at all-time high. Both are trading well above major levels of resistance. This becomes a bit difficult now to be extremely bullish. And I'm going to explain. So essentially, right? Personally, this is my thought process. I mean, regardless, right? We're going to play whatever direction the market goes. We're still holding on to long calls on various different stocks. Tech stocks, everything, right? Everything's profitable. We're also short silver, whatever. That's profitable as well. What I also did was I entered into lotto puts expiring on Thursday. I believe Thursday or Friday. Lotto puts expiring Thursday or Friday. It was SPY 664 puts. So I'm expecting a retest of the 20 exponential moving average on the SPY, either today or tomorrow. So that's what I'm expecting. So essentially, either Wednesday or Thursday, I'm expecting a pullback to that level. And essentially, from right here, it would be even if it dropped 0.4%, 0.5%, the puts would be up very, very dramatically because they're very close dated. So that's my thought process. We're at a major level of resistance, 673, major level of resistance. It made all the sense in the world to enter short a bit for a bit of a retest to 667, 668. Normally, that's what generally happens. And if we're just looking at it from the standpoint of a fib level, right, from the most recent lows from October 17th, this candle from a couple days ago, to the most recent highs, what is this? 667 is literally the 38.2% fib. Very, very easily able to get a retest to that level. So that's essentially my thought process in the next day or two. Overall, I'm extremely bullish regardless, right? But I do believe that level should be getting a test. After that gets a retest, we really need to see 661 to 662 to continue to hold. If those levels end up breaking to the downside, then this is going to really, really be bad, and the market is going to get a large pullback. But overall, from what we're seeing right now, we made back all of the losses from Trump's 100% tariff, and we made a recovery. This is a full-blown recovery on the SPY and on the NASDAQ. This is literally a U-shaped, V-shaped recovery. You can't argue with that. So now, I am a bit bearish heading into the next few days, but we're going to take a look at what the large tech stocks look like and what the VIX looks like, as well as crypto. All right. So let's go ahead and first take a look at Apple. All right. So Apple, we're long Apple. We're long Apple as well. And, held through. We held through this downturn. It was bullish on Apple. And it skyrocketed. Apple was one of the biggest winners today. And it did very, very well. 266 is right around the corner. And as long as we remain above this 260 level, this is very, very bullish. So 258 to 260 is a major, major level of support on Apple. Looks bullish. I would not really want to be extremely bullish up here because we already had a huge move to the upside. And we got 2 wicks on the highs. I don't want to buy into this strength. Never really want to buy into extreme strength. You would rather buy into weakness. All right. So once again, a bit of a pullback to retest these prior highs makes sense on Apple. Okay. So that's that on Apple. When you look at Amazon though, Amazon once again was showing the falling wedge pattern. And Amazon is also a big reason why I remained bullish on the market. Because Amazon, once again, we were looking. Very, very simple. Amazon's another swing we were holding. Amazon, falling wedge pattern at a level of support, at a horizontal level of support at 208, 210. So we were hugging this lower level of the falling wedge while also being at 210, 208 zone of support. And we ended up bouncing very aggressively. So now we are back at this very major, important 222 level. Wicked above it. Could not get a close above it, but that's fine. And now, we're tapping at this level. So tomorrow, it makes sense. This is really strong because falling wedges are extremely bullish patterns. They tend to break to the upside. So I would not be surprised if this gets a pullback and a continued move. Overall, that's why, the overall market is still showing bullishness. Amazon is also showing bullishness. So that should be getting, even if it gets a retest to 220, that's what I'm thinking should happen. A retest to 220 and a rise upwards. But there is no reason why it can't just continue to rise, okay? That's just my thought process. If you want to make a healthy market, there should be good opportunities for people to get in, right? So you don't want to just chase, right? For a healthy market, there should be ebbs and flows where there's good profit taking opportunities as well as dip buying opportunities. Right now on Apple, Amazon, a lot of these stocks, there should be something like that occurs, okay? I could be wrong, but I'm not wrong all the time and not that often. So Netflix is also another such stock that is showing a lot of strength. And it's doing very well. But today, you can see that it got a bit of a pullback, which is normal because we're trading at the 50% fib. We shot up very aggressively, broke the prior highs, and now we had a bit of a stagnation at 1240. So this is still a very nice setup, bullish setup. As long as 1220 can hold on Netflix, we can continue to rise. 1220 needs to hold as a level of support on Netflix for a continued move higher. Meta looks fantastic. Meta looks really, really good, in my opinion. It's holding above 730. It's curling upwards. And it's still, it's setting up for a very, very explosive move to the upside, in my opinion. I was explaining how when we are consolidating like this at a level of support, it is very unlikely for us to just hold like this and then make another low. So that's why it made the most sense for a bounce. Amazon looked like a great opportunity for a bounce. Apple looked like a great opportunity for a bounce. And that's the reason why we look at all of these stocks in unison, because all of these stocks paint a picture of which direction the overall market is going to go. So just purely based off of Apple, Amazon, and Meta, these were all just really, really solid opportunities. And 750 looks like it's on the table on Meta around the corner. So we were also long on Google, made new highs. Google was one of the biggest winners. We wicked all the way back to the breakout trend line of this bull flag. And we were long, right? We broke to the upside, captured a really, really nice move on Google. Our contracts hit 50-60%. And then today, we got a pullback down to this breakout trend line. And we bounced back up. So it's kind of crazy sometimes how well these trend lines and everything work, because these are the same levels that algorithms are looking for, because they all look for patterns in price action, patterns in technical analysis. It just so happens that that's exactly where we ended up bouncing. So it's funny how that works sometimes. With that being said, Google needs to hold above 247. If it doesn't, then we could see into the low 240s, and this would end up holding the trend line, in my opinion. But 247 is the first major level of support that needs to hold above on Google. Overall, this is still very bullish. Even if we were to stagnate a bit and drop down to 240, 238 to 240 level, it would still give a really, really good opportunity for 265 to 270 into the month of November. And we know, we're going to take a look at seasonality right now, but seasonality-wise, the month of November is very, very bullish for the overall market. Microsoft holding support very, very well, not doing much, stagnate, held 510, held 515, not doing much. Broke above the 20 exponential moving average. Overall, pretty decent. Not showing weakness, very similar to Netflix. But yeah, not really much to look at on Microsoft here. Tesla, on the other hand, held above the major trend line for 2 days in a row at 442. Very, very important level of support, which was resistance. We ended up breaking above and holding. The next target to the upside is 470. This is still, Tesla doesn't look as strong. We could see a pullback. Tesla doesn't look that strong to me right now. We could get a pullback to 435, even 430 in my opinion. Tesla doesn't look that great. We should be getting a pullback and then another rip to the upside. So I would be very surprised if we ended up just rallying to 470 here. I would be very, very surprised if Tesla did that. Nvidia trying to hold the level of support as best of it as it can, holding 180 for dear life. AMD is continuing to push and push and push up onto new all-time highs, holding through 235, not getting much moves lower. It held 230. This is really, really strong and solid out of AMD here. I cannot argue with the strength. And last but not least, let's go ahead and take a look at the VIX, and then we'll take a look at crypto. So the VIX is very, very important to monitor because it has an inverse relationship to the market. If the VIX rises, then the overall market should be falling. The VIX is approaching a very, very major level of support at $17. If the VIX bounces off of its support and does very well and bounces, the overall market is going to end up falling. Generally, that's what happens because they have an inverse relationship. So, with that being said, 17 is very, very important on the VIX. We're approaching a very major level of support while also approaching very, very major levels of resistance on the overall market. There's nothing stopping us from continuing to churn upwards. But, unless we get a collapse in the VIX, I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's the only probable cause for the market to bounce, is if the VIX just melts below 17, which is possible. That's why I entered lotto puts. But I'm assuming there should be a bit of a bounce on the VIX in the next 1 to 2 days. small bounce, and there should be a bit of a pullback in the SPY as well in the next 1 to 2 days as well. So let's see if that ends up occurring. I could be wrong, but that is my thought process. Now, when we're looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin was also a very, very major reason why I was also very bullish. We entered Bitcoin longs on Friday, and we ended up skyrocketing to 114. Our IBIT swing calls were up very, very well, and we're still continuing to hold this very important trend line. It's still holding up 107, but overall, Bitcoin doesn't look that great. It still looks like we could end up breaking to the downside. We could end up retesting 105 to 106, but this is, you know, just being around this level, even if we were to stagnate, it's still bullish on Bitcoin in my opinion. We're at a very, very major level of support, and to really, really drill it home, Ethereum and Solana are both holding very, very important levels of support. They are all within a bullish structure, and they're trying to bottom themselves out, essentially. I would not want to be extremely bearish on Solana after making multiple legs lower, and I wouldn't want to be bearish Ethereum. You know, there is bearish momentum. By all means, we could end up dropping to 36, 70, to 35, right? There's a lot of bearish momentum still, but the upside potential, all of this, in my opinion, is a very, very good buying opportunity. And that's my thought process. So even if we were to drop to 102 on Bitcoin, all of these are good long opportunities because the risk reward to the upside is really, really prominent and beautiful. So with that being said, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Tomorrow or the day afterward, we should be getting a pullback on the SPY to 666, 667. That'd be great. Our puts would be up really, really nicely as well. So let's see what happens. A lot of these tech stocks are just continuing to show strength. Tesla, that's the thing. Tesla, it's really setting up for a big move to the upside, as well as Meta. They're both setting up for a really explosive melting moves to the upside, but I'd be surprised if we end up getting that. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Take care.